Hi, this is a meeting of the Safety and Health Committee. I'm Robin Odeth, Chair, Brad Keith on my left, and John Terwilliger on my right. We are here to provide a recommendation to Council authorizing a 5-year agreement for Concord Township, Staunton Township, and part of Lost Creek Township. Is this three separate votes?
It'll be 3 separate resolutions, yes.
Okay, so, but all three basically enlighten us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will certainly endeavor to do just that.
Big job.
The current 5-year agreements with each of those townships will expire at the end of 2017. We are requesting these as emergency for that reason. It wasn't that we decided to just wait until the last minute, but in the case of Concord Township, it's been about an 18-month process. You've probably read in the newspaper or the media that they were in discussions with Upper Valley Medical Center with regards to what services Concord would, should, and could provide on their behalf moving forward. They just resolved that not too long ago, and so that's the primary reason for the delay. So the 5-year agreements, in the last 5 years, we worked out agreements where over the 5-year period, the subsidy that was being provided with the way that it was calculated prior to 5 years ago has gone away. And so now it is a calculation where all fire calls, all EMS calls are broken down by entity, including the city, within the city borders. We look at our administrative overhead. We look at our depreciation schedule and our equipment schedule, both planned and purchased over the period of time that we're just leaving, and all that goes in, and there's a unit price, if you will, that is charged for each EMS run and each fire run. And so we use for each entity an average of the last 5 years to come up with the 2018 number that we then apply the rates to, the unit prices to. Because there were the discussions were prolonged with UVMC between them and Concord Township, pulling UVMC's numbers out would have significantly changed the overall calculation, which would have changed the responsibility for each of the other entities as a result, because the bottom line volume of calls would have changed. Okay, and in fact they are changing after 6 months from July 1st of 2018 going forward. So we couldn't give you Staunton or Lost Creek numbers because of the discussions that were going on between Concord and UVMC. As a result of those conversations between Concord and the hospital, as of July 1st, Concord would continue to supply the fire service portion in our contract. UVMC will find their own separate EMS services, emergency medical services, and so those numbers have come out after the first 6 months of the next 5-year agreement. All right, so as a result of that, you see the numbers for 2018 for each of the 3 townships, and similar to the last 5 years, then years 2 through 5 are increased by 2% per year as an inflation factor. Without getting into the details of each one of the, all 5 years of the numbers, I think you have those in your reports, as well as the memo that Mrs. Knight provided to you regarding Staunton. Staunton, because of the change, the constant changing of the numbers until Concord and UVMC worked it out, we gave Staunton a couple of different options where they could average the 5-year costs and smooth out their costs to us or their payments to us, or they could go with what we called option 1, where they will see a jump in by 17.84% from 17 to 18 because of the run volume, and then it will be 2% increase per year. That's the option they chose. We literally received that notice today, and that's why it's late to be here. So we are recommending, and I will say that Matt, Fire Chief Simmons, as well as Auditor Frigge, and I met with the different entities. Matt met separately with Lost Creek because it was just the EMS, and it was a pretty straightforward discussion, and we're all in agreement that it's in our best interest to recommend to you the next 5 years as presented to you. Again, we are asking for emergency legislation so that there is no disruption in service as of January 1st.
So what happens if the cost goes over these amounts?
That's always possible, but since it's a 5-year agreement and since we use an average of the run data, we hope that that's minimal. We have our 5-year capital plan, and so we did program that into the numbers as well over the next 5 years. So, we may be under 1 year over the other, but over the 5 years, we hope that it'll equal out or come close.
And I know, the agreement was between Concord Township and UVMC, but is that for fire response if they needed a fire or EMS service?
Yes, they will be, in the past, it has been a blanket contract where any calls to UVMC, whether they're EMS or fire, is handled by the Detroit Fire Department as part of the Concord contract. In the future, as of July 1st of next year, only fire will be included, will be dispatched to the Troy Fire Department. Any EMS calls will be handled by UVMC with whatever arrangement that they work out.
Okay. Questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just is there going to be any effect on this with Kettering coming in? Could they possibly change their negotiations and go with that side of things as far as Concord?
No, Kettering is within the corporate limit, so they're not subject to an agreement. That's just part of our income tax base.
Okay. This was going past when they were going to be built. I didn't know if that was going to change things. Thank you.
And since Kettering is in our district, the city just covers both.
That's part of our costs.
John?
I think you have a key statement in here that persons of Troy need to understand, and that is the proposed renewal agreements are based on formulas that do not have city residents paying for the Township Act services.
Right, as I mentioned, in this current 5-year contract, we gradually increased the reimbursements from the townships to eliminate that subsidy. And so moving forward, there will be a zero subsidy.
So all subsidies are done?
Correct.
Good.
Any other questions?
No questions from me.
From the room? Oh, Madam President. Please come to the mic. State your name and address.
Marty Baker, President of Troy City Council. Just a I think, a correction in the memo that we received. It says the agreement with Concord Township would be based on, and it goes on with the percentages, and then it says, after the first half of 2018, the UVMC campus will not be covered for fire and EMS services. And I think that should just say for
It's just
EMS, right?
That's correct. And the
Okay.
contract will reflect that.
And the committee.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted
Thank
to
you.
clarify, thank you.
I have no further questions.
I don't have any more questions, thank you.
John,
Yeah.
move forward
Yep.
Yeah, move forward with the emergencies.
with emergency.
Okay, very good.
Anything else for this
No, ma'am.
committee? We are adjourned. Thank you.